Oh my god! There's a crisis at the White House! The White House is on fire! Nope, that's a different crisis. I'm not talking about that crisis. We're talking about Sputnik, aka the launch of the space race. And why this was a crisis? Because everyone in the United States was panicking about it. Don't believe me? Go read it. I'm not going to tell you about it. Well, I guess I am. But that's not the point. I'm going to talk about the details about this specific crisis. So, in 1957, October 4th. Oh, yeah, it's October right now. The USSR, aka Russia, launched the world's first satellite into orbit, which caused the United States citizens to panic about it because they were worried about their public security. And also, technically, this is for the first time one of Russia's aircraft have passed over the United States air border or something like that. I don't know the specifics of this because, you know, space and stuff. So everyone was panicking. They thought they could launch nukes from Sputnik down to the great US of A. And everyone was panicking about this. So now, this brings us to our president at the time, President Eisenhower. You probably know him. He's a president. And he had really two options for this whole entire conflict. Develop research into space stuff like rockets and developing an organization to deal with this, or ignore it and continue working on missiles. And at the time, there was a huge missile gap. The missile gap was basically where Russia had better technology than the United States. The pros and cons between this stuff, if Eisenhower chose to work on missiles, the pros were better missiles, better security. Better security means more people safe. We could just intimidate them saying, yeah, we have very deadly missiles. You don't want that to be shot at you. Cons with that is that, you know, people would be scared. People would still be scared about the whole stuff that's happening in outer space. And also, you know, Russia having the upper hand of stuff being in space. So that's a no good. But if Eisenhower chose working on space stuff, there would be a lot of benefits, lots of pros. Pros overweighed the cons. Let me start with the cons because that's the smallest list. Money and not so many good missiles. I would say that's easily overthrown by the pros. The pros were having, you know, just showing the USSR that, yeah, we're America, we're better, and that such. And also having better technology to upper hand the USSR, making people feel safe, but not only that, trying to influence younger people, like kids, to join, you know, science programs, to become the next Einsteins of the United States. Well, we obviously know what happened. So, President Eisenhower chose the long approach. He didn't approach it the right away because his number one concern was fixing the missile gap. He still saw it as a huge risk that they were in outer space. So, 10 months later, in July 29th,
1958,
the well-known NASA was founded. And NASA stands for National Aeronautic Space Administration. Yeah, you guys probably didn't know what that was, but now you know. But honestly, if I was President Eisenhower at this moment, I would probably put a little bit more concerns onto the space race stuff because, you know, we already had a lot of good missiles. Heck, we had like 2 nuclear bombs. But if we're able to use the scare factor of stuff coming from outer space onto Mother Russia, that would be a huge implication of fear to prevent Russia to doing any stupid stuff. This is where it all comes, my presentation, this video comes to an end. What were the long-term effects of this space race? Honestly, a lot of good outcomes. First off, we won the space race because we went to the moon. And imagine how many people got inspired by that to join sciences and everything. And not only that, we got better technology. You might have heard that, you know, your phone has more computing power than the computers they had at NASA at the time. So, you know, we obviously stepped forward because of that. But not only that, we have now tons of more jobs and tons of more people trying to chase their passions with going to space or being a scientist. A lot of more people eyes were opened up because of this and wanting to chase a career with science. And when you work with science, you can also help with people, and science helps the world every day with finding cures for diseases or finding different ways to keep people safe. That's because of science. So overall, the long-term effects of this were beneficial. I kind of wanted to end it off on a, a inspirational thing, but now I don't know how to end it off. I'll probably just end it off something like, like now.